Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we look at both old games and new to try and uncover some of those little hidden gems that you might want to give a crack, add to your wish list, and try out for yourself. Today, we're actually taking a look at something a bit different. We're going to look at a custom map or a mod for Starcraft 2. Starcraft 2 is one of those classic games. If you haven't played it, highly recommend giving it a shot. It's free to play for multiplayer. Just download it. And this map, being a custom map for StarCraft 2, is free as well. But couldn't recommend this game more if you have not played it before. But the custom map we're talking about, is called Squadron Tower Defense. I personally am a really big fan of tower defense games, and Squadron Tower Defense does something quite unique that I haven't seen in any commercialized tower defense games. It's team-based, where you play 4 versus 4, and there's quite a lot of asymmetry in terms of how you can set the game up, and it's got a lot of diversity built into it. The developers have done an amazing job in creating what I view as a very unique gameplay style. Let's dive in for one playthrough, see how we go. If you enjoy it, as always, like, comment below, let me know what you think. Let's dive in. Okay, so this is Squadron Tower Defense. Over here we have a range of different builders that we can choose to play with. In this mode that's been picked for us, we're going to be going into what's called a draft, where we get to select from a random assortment of units that we're going to build our builder from. So right over here you can see we've only got one choice in that space. That's okay. I'm going to go over here and select this guy. I'm going to select this guy over here. I'm going to select this guy. And maybe I will select here. And potentially I probably need something that's going to do some extra damage. I don't know, I'll try that and let's see. And then we select what's called a mutator, or not a mutator, a passive, which is an ability that our builder has that will affect all our towers. So I'm going to take this one here, which means whenever our unit gets hit, it builds some static charge which discharges and kind of does damage to any unit that's hitting one of ours. There is a mutator on for this, which means that there are little mini bosses in certain waves as well that makes the game a bit more challenging. So there are kind of two main modes in this game that are either where you select a particular builder, a pre-made one. You can have a mode where you select a custom builder that you build manually. If you are selecting a custom builder, there are kind of point restrictions you have in terms of making that builder together. And then you can play this kind of mode that we're playing now, which is draft, where you select them. There's also a builder you can select which is chaos, which means that your builder will change each turn, so you get different towers each turn. Really fun once you become quite familiar with the game. So talking a little bit about some of the mechanics in this game, we have money or resources up here, our minerals, and we have gas. Gas is used to, we've got these little tabs down here, gas is used to send units to the other side, so send units to the enemy. These units here that we select will then get added to the enemy wave that comes out like this, making their round a little bit more challenging. It will also give us, if you look at the different units that we can send, there's a +1 to income there. That means the more things we send, the more money we earn at the end of the round. We kind of build up a constant income over the course of the game. Now, an interesting little mechanic there is the stronger units that will do more damage to the enemy, like the Marine here, cost more but only give a minimal income as well. Alright, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sell my tower and use that money to buy a bit of a more expensive one to get us a little bit of a good start. This guy shoots a whole lot of different units at once. You can see it's a grid-based system. We have our 6 builders here, and whenever you, all builders have not 6 builders, we have our 6 towers here, and every tower has different upgrades that can be used. This one that I just built doesn't, because this particular tower has 3 different options right off the bat that we can select from. Now, what we can also spend our minerals on, which I'm going to do now, is on increasing our economy. So each one of these little workers that we buy increases the amount of gas that we earn per second per tick. And we can also increase the speed at which that happens. I'm going to sink a fair bit of money into that now to kind of get our economy up and running right from the get-go. Now, if your towers do not defeat the enemy, the enemy units will go down this lane, and they will continue down to our kind of boss or our security system, which is the final point. You can see that's happened over here for the enemy. The enemies have leaked through, and they're now fighting off that last little bit to kind of survive the round. What happens there, I'm going to pass this round again, save a bit of money and try and get this guy, hopefully not die. What happens there is our security system has a certain amount of health and armor. It also has its own attack, and it can be upgraded. So we can spend money here, we can spend gas to upgrade our damage, our shields, give it certain abilities, things like that. When you survive a round, all your units will walk down to this end, and they'll go into the end line, and they'll teleport down to help defend the security, what's it called again? The security system. So basically, having some units get past you isn't the end of the world. It does mean you're missing out on that particular income, but if we leak all four of us, for example, then there'll be nothing here defending the security system, and there's going to be a fair bit of damage that gets through. See over here, the enemy's leaked. There's one particular player, Temporal, that's having a bit of a hard time at the moment. So this often happens if someone's kind of ecoed too hard and they've spent too much in that generating resources space, so their towers aren't as strong, they're not able to hold the round. Or they've selected the wrong towers for what's coming. Over here we can see what's coming up, what wave, what kind of damage they do, what to expect from them. Okay, so, and we only have this like 35 seconds or whatever to build each turn. I think I'm going to build this guy here. And I might also throw one of these guys in front of him. And I'll spend that last $60 on another worker to upgrade a bit further. So this round's going to be Marines. So it's going to be a whole lot of really quick shooting guys that do a little bit of piercing damage. That will also be quite a bit weaker. But can be quite threatening to like tank units and things like that. As you can see, like already they're cutting through my tanks, but like that's just really there to try and limit the damage being done to my, what's this called? My laser battery. So it looks like we're going to hold for this round. If this boss, yep, the mini boss has gone down. We just held. However, one of our allies has not. And looks like two of the other team have not made it through. Now, the interesting thing about this game that I haven't seen replicated in any other tower defense, and tower defense is a genre that I really enjoy, is that it's 4 versus 4. So you're playing with a team against another team. And the ability to save up your gas to send to the other side does make it quite a dynamic game, in that it does change quite a bit. We're going to upgrade our Outcast to a Forsaken one, make him a bit stronger, a bit more tanky. What it does mean is that like each round is not the same. Even though the units coming through are the same, the way the game's played, there's quite a bit of diversity to that, which is quite enjoyable. A strategy that's often used is called saving gas, where you stop sending some of these units and you just get a really big bank of your gas to then send a big unit at the end. We've just had Temporal over the other team leave the game. This game has a really good auto-balancing sort of mechanic where once they leave, it changes the way the sends work against us. So it kind of balances it out by making their sends a bit stronger, increasing the bounty of them, having it so when the other 3 players are sending things to us, they do a bit more damage. It also, I think it decreases the strength of our ones because they'll only be going to 3 different players instead of the 4. We've just had Exodia leave on our team, which means that it's now 3v3. That bonus has gone away and it's now even again. which is quite good. Okay, let's have a look over here. Can I afford? I can't afford that upgrade, but I'm going to get this guy up a little bit. And then maybe, I feel like we're getting a bit low on the DPS we're putting out. We're going to get, no, I can't get one more of those. I'm going to get a couple of these cheap little units here, just for a bit of passive. Their impact, they're really weak, but their passive effect is they increase attack speed by 3% each. So hopefully that'll just mean a little bit more damage will be going out. Meanwhile, I'm spending a little bit of money here just to get my my gas up. Something that's happened up here is that we've reached a population cap, so we have to spend some resources here to both gas and minerals to increase our pop cap. We are only just holding, and that's kind of the balancing act that you work through this game, is that, you know, you do play in this space where it's just about, you just want to be just scraping through, so that your economy is getting up and you're strong enough to hold around. And when that falls out of balance is where you start to spiral out of control. I've just upgraded this guy to a Soul of Heroes. He does a really cool thing where he's ephemeral, so he can't actually be targeted. He latches onto this guy. He increases this guy's stats and regeneration, and he cannot be targeted until this guy dies. So it's quite a good little buff there for him. I think I want to get another one of these laser batteries. That's kind of what I want to save for. Either that or upgrade my other tank guy. They held quite well. I think we're going to be looking at getting another laser battery. I don't think I'm going to get the money for another upgrade. Now, at round 10, we will be facing the boss of, not the boss of the game, but the boss of this this round, so to speak. There's a big boss at 10, then another one at 20, and another one at, I think, another one at 30. I can't quite remember. But we need to kind of be preparing for that, because the boss is very strong, and if we don't have the right units to be able to deal with that, we're not going to make it through. Right now, I think the boss is absolutely going to crush me, so I think we might have to even just anticipate that the boss is going to get through, unless I can figure something out. I think what I need kind of a longer range attack from over here, and I need something that's going to debuff the boss a bit. Because even though I'm cleaning this up quite well, the boss is just really 3 really big units that soak damage really well and do an enormous amount of damage themselves. So let's go over here. Let's maybe go one, or no, before I do that, I'm going to spend this money to upgrade this Phantom, make him as strong as I can. So I've got this good little tank combination. Hopefully that'll help get us through a fair bit of it, and then we'll spend whatever we've got left in that in our last round here before the boss to try and see whether we can get a bit extra debuffs or damage for the boss. I'm thinking I'm probably going to want to make a little range guy that throws a debuff on the boss and see whether that makes a difference. We're getting through this handily. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. These guys are going to clean this up though, because they're barely taking any damage. Cool. Alright, we've got 440 to spend. I'm going to put one of these here and upgrade him to this little range guy that debuffs. And then maybe I'll go up here. Oh no, I'm actually population capped here. If I get rid of that and that, this is probably a bad move, but there we go. Got a longer range guy there by selling some units to kind of clear up some space. Let's see whether we manage it. So these are the 3 big boss guys. The little guys are all things that the enemies have sent. Looks like we're going to get through one of them. Maybe 2. 2, yep. Oh, okay. We managed to make it the whole way through. and we're sinking this money into our economy. I'm going to put 2 upgrades in to the speed of my economy here, I think. I think I lagged behind a bit with keeping on top of that. And I'm going to change what I'm sending over here to make sure that we're sending something a bit more in line with the economy of where we're, like, of what we're pulling in gas-wise. Let's go for another upgrade there. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see how we go. Okay. Yep, we're holding quite strong. We're going to have to start lining up our front line. We're going to have to start extending our front line a little bit, I think. That's holding really well, that little combination. I think we want a second lot of that, if we can afford it. So I'm going to put one over here. And I'll put some more. We can kind of get that front line taking the brunt of our damage, the stronger we will be. Okay. Now, as you can see, since those other players left, we are holding quite strong on both sides. So we're kind of waiting to see what the next big attack's going to be. What's probably happening in the chat right now is my teammates will be talking about strategizing around a time to save and to send up. I've got that all turned off at the moment, the chat, because being a YouTube video, I don't think it's really appropriate to have that up there, particularly if people choose to not really engage in that in a polite way. But often, particularly around this times where people will start kind of talking together and be like, all right, when do we want to hit? When do we want to save? What are we going to send? Things like that. If we look over here, really, that's not happening much at the moment. One's sending some little zerglings, but I'm the only one that seems to be sending anything much, which tells me that I think my teammates are saving up some gas for a big hit, which we'll see in a minute. Yeah, so that's exactly what they're doing. They've told me to stop sending, which I can do. Ironically, that was well timed, but let's have a look at where we're at here. Yeah, still my DPS guys are getting quite slaughtered, and now these guys are starting to really whittle down my tanks, which is a bit concerning. So I have gone the right route in starting to kind of max this out. Now, something you'll notice here is that okay, so they're telling me they want to send a Banshee. Sure, why not? You can see there's a max amount of gas that we can save. This is to prevent people just kind of banking up an enormous amount to then kind of swoop in with one big hit. Like, they're trying to kind of balance that out a little bit so you can't go, right, 10 rounds of just saving gas. What happens is once you hit over the cap, you start to get increasingly diminishing returns. So I'm going to turn that Banshee back off and go back to getting my economy up. These guys are going to get through, I think. They're doing a lot of extra damage to me. Oh, okay. Maybe it's going to... Okay, we made it. Fantastic. They, on the other hand, didn't. You can see we've had all 3 of them leak. Oh, so that means they've got no defenders here, and they are absolutely decimated. So that is Squadron Tower Defense. As I said, it's a bit of a different style of video. It's looking at one of the custom maps, one of the arcades in Starcraft 2. I really enjoy some of these custom games and mods in games. I think that's where some of the best games that we see come out, like DayZ started as a mod for armor, things like that. And I think this is a really unique tower defense style that I haven't seen before in other games, and I personally really enjoy playing it. Starcraft 2 is free these days. It's like there is payments if you want to get particular add-ons and things like that, but It's free to play for multiplayer at least. I highly recommend downloading and giving it a shot. It is a fantastic game. The single player is awesome as well. There's quite a lot of different modes and mechanics in it. Definitely worth giving a shot. If you're into tower defenses, Squadron Tower Defense, really fun as well. But this has been a bit of a change from the normal content I'm making. Looking at mods isn't something I've done before, or looking at custom maps. If you would like to see more of this kind of stuff, I'm really happy to do videos on it as well. Just let me know in the comments below if you would actually like to see that sort of content. In the meantime, this has been Sidequest Gaming. Thank you so much for spending this time for me. As always, please like, subscribe. It makes a really, really big difference. And have a fantastic day. Peace.